In today's video, I'm going to be discussing eliminating the COLA for Social Security, retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, spousal, SSI, and VA benefits. I have all the details for you right here in the video. Let's get into it and discuss what's going on. All right, now first off, let me ask you a quick question. Do you love the annual COLA, otherwise known as cost of living adjustment, or is it a little bit of a love-hate relationship? You love it a little bit, but at the same time, it always makes you a little bit annoyed, possibly frustrated. It's not enough. It's not raising benefits. They reduce it in other ways. They take the money away, all kinds of things like this. So I'd love to hear your comments down below in the comment section. Do you like the COLA, or do you honestly just think it's kind of annoying and it's frustrating every single year when we get the announcement because it's always somehow behind where we actually need it to be, and we know that prices have gone up substantially, but yet the COLA is always announced significantly lower than what we actually know prices have gone up. Anyway, I'd love to hear your comments down below, but I want to talk about something that's out there right now where there is discussion about eliminating. In other words, ending, stopping, removing, whatever word you want to put in there, the COLA. Yeah, I know. When we think of it that way, we think, uh-oh, it's always a little bit hard to lose something that we've previously had, right? So when we think of it that way, we always want to avoid loss at all costs, a lot of times that we do. So anyway, let me talk about what's going on here. However, really fast before we do, can I ask a huge favor of you? If you have not done so yet, or if you happen to be new here, will you please make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting the subscribe button right down below the video? Thank you. I truly do appreciate it. Again, only if you haven't done so yet. Make sure to join the other nearly 500,000 people here on the channel and subscribe right down below. Totally free to do so. Always has been, always always will be. I love free stuff. Free is my favorite price. I'm watching everything closely. I'm breaking it all down for you here in these videos, advocating on your behalf in any way that I possibly can, and answering questions as well, bringing to your attention anything out there right now you can possibly grab or take advantage of as a low-income or fixed income beneficiary. So again, thanks so much for being here. Please subscribe down below, join the other nearly 500,000 or 500,000 people here on the channel, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And let's talk about what's going on here. All right, so you've heard me talk about many proposals out there. There's a ton of proposals that are out there on the table right now. Again, to reform Social Security, to change the program, to raise benefits, to cut benefits, to reduce benefit increases. Again, the list goes on and on. Raise the full retirement age, raise taxes. The list is very, very long of all the proposals out there. What is the idea behind all this? Why? Why are they proposing all of these different changes to Social Security? The idea is to avoid insolvency. That's literally all it comes down to. Every single time, it's to avoid insolvency. That's the only goal here, okay? It's not because they want to, reform the program, to change it for the beneficiaries and do all these different weird things for the beneficiaries. No, it's never because of any of that. The whole idea behind it is to make sure that the program remains solvent. In other words, the trust fund remains with money in it, not completely empty and broke. That's literally the reason why. So they want to reform the program, and they want to implement these changes now to make sure that there's money in the trust fund for many more generations and decades into the future, so they can continue paying out promised benefits for beneficiaries for a long time. Okay, that's literally the reason why. Now, we have a ton of proposals out there, different plans, concepts, ideas, and things like this of how to do this, okay? Many times you've heard me say, and you've heard the proposals of raise the full retirement age, raise taxes, stop giving high benefits to high-income people. Again, you've heard the proposals, all the classics. We've heard them before, right? However, this is an interesting one, and believe it or not, this has actually been around for a while, and I want to tell you about this one because, again, it could potentially be removing the COLA. Now, I want to make it very clear here, okay? No, this has not been happened yet. However, it's on their chopping block. It is a thing that they're talking about, and it is one of the little, one of the little vegetables on the metaphorical chopping block, and, we got to watch it, okay? Is it going to avoid the chopping? Well, hopefully it does, but again, that's why I wanted to ask you earlier. Do you like the COLA, or do you just feel a little bit frustrated by it every year? I'm not sure about you, but I like the COLA, but honestly, I agree. It is frustrating every single year when we hear it, and it's never, ever high enough. But anyway, here's the whole idea behind this, okay? So some people have said, well, if we cut the COLAs, if we just completely eliminated the COLAs, then this would be a lot of extra money. Billions of dollars over, X period of time, fill in the blank, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 75 years. There's all these projections out there that over this amount of time, we're going to save, in theory, $10 billion, $17.7 billion over X period of time or whatever. There's all these different numbers that are out there depending on the different time frames that you look at. But the whole idea would be is basically keeping extra money into basically the trust fund of Social Security, so that's paying out less, right? Every year, they pay out billions upon billions of dollars more because of the COLA. I know that sounds weird, like how could they possibly be paying out more because of a little, 3% increase? Well, there's 70 million people that get benefits, obviously give or take a little bit, 70 million, but 70 million people that get benefits and everybody gets a 3% raise or a 3.2% raise. Yeah, that translates into a lot of money. In fact, last year, 2023, when we got the 8.7% COLA, they paid out an extra $45 billion just last year because of the COLA. But guess what? The COLAs don't go away year to year. They continue every year. It's a permanent increase to benefits, and then it's compounded. You've heard me talk about compounding before in other videos. It's compounded year over year. So the next raise is on top of the higher benefit, and it compounds. So they paid out an extra $45 billion last year because of the 8.7, but guess what? They're still paying out the $45 billion this year because of the 8.7 last year, and then plus the 3.2% we got this year. So effectively, over that 2-year period of time, what is the math on that? 10.9%? I think I'm right on that. That's a 10.9% raise just in 2 years' time, okay? And it's perpetual. It'll continue forever because the COLAs are permanent. Get what I'm saying here? So yes, in theory, yes, the COLAs do actually raise the output of Social Security by billions of dollars a year. I totally agree. It does. If we look at the real numbers, okay, I want to see actuality. I want to see real numbers, real statistics. I don't want just this is an estimate. Okay, who cares? Estimates are estimates. They don't tell us anything. I want to see the real numbers behind this. But again, this is the reality of it. So as they run the numbers on this and they see, over X period of time, we're going to save all these tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars over, X period of time, right? Over all these years. I agree. Yes, that would happen in the event of removing the COLA. Now, here's the interesting part about it. If they actually did stop the COLA, benefits would be frozen at that point. Basically, benefits would just freeze right where they are. And that's it. And we'd always go on our merry way. And then again, going forward into the future, we would just continue to fall behind more and more and more every year. And again, remember, the COLA is supposed to cushion benefits from any increases because of inflation. Does it do that? Well, not really. We know that, right? Inflation might be 4% and the COLA is 3.2%. Inflation might be 12% and the COLA is 8.7%. Something ridiculous like this, right? So we know that the COLA does fall behind and the COLA doesn't really keep up with real price increases. We know this. It's no shocker. It's no surprise whatsoever. We know the details behind that. But the elimination of the COLA would really fall behind, or would really force benefits to fall behind significantly and very fast. But this is a way of just basically cost cutting. Have you heard that before? With big businesses, medium businesses, small businesses, they say, we're going to go into cost cutting mode now, right? Or whatever, some line like that, right? Well, yeah, it's the same thing here. It's cost cutting on Social Security, so they're not having as much output, right? They're still bringing in the input, right? They're still bringing money in, but the output would be less than each year. Now, here's the thing as well. Let me share with you statistically, the numbers behind this, okay? So right now, Social Security pays out a little more than $100 billion a month to beneficiaries. That's not per year, per month. That's nuts. That's a lot of money, right? So beneficiaries are receiving $100 billion a month in benefits from Social Security. That is a nutso number, in my opinion. That just seems like a massive amount of money. You would think that's annually, right? That's every year? No, that's monthly going out to beneficiaries. Social Security currently pays out about $1.3 trillion a year in benefits to beneficiaries. That's nuts, okay? That's a lot of money that goes out to beneficiaries. I don't care how you cut it. I think $1 trillion is a lot of money, right? Okay, so my point is, by cutting the COLA out, okay, yes, to be 100% fair, this would save the program money, okay? If benefits no longer got COLA increases, yes, benefits would no longer increase, and benefits and, the trust fund would ultimately have that extra money in the coffers, and they would have that to go out in the future at some point, right? But then this would literally just mean that the falling behind of seniors and fixed income and people with disabilities would be exacerbated at that point, because now if inflation goes up 4% and there's no increase to benefits, we just lost a lot of extra money, right? We lost a lot of purchasing power, which is literally the purpose of the COLA like we all know, to adjust for the cost of living. Makes sense? So anyway, but think of it this way. Let's just say that over, I don't know, let's just make up a number here, okay? Let's just say that over a 10-year period of time, they save, let's just say $100 billion by removing the COLA. So if they remove the COLA today, again, they have not, and they're not going to today, but let's just say in theory, they remove the COLA today, and over a 10-year span of time, it saves Social Security $100 billion. Nice. $100 billion is a great savings. Congratulations. We've just saved $100 billion. But guess what? In 10 years' time, that'll be like a fraction of monthly benefits. Does that kind of make sense? As you heard me say just a minute ago, $100 billion is going out the door right now to beneficiaries. So if we save $100 billion over 10 years, in 10 years' time, $100 billion will cover maybe like, I don't know, 70% roughly of monthly output to benefits. So we've basically taken money from the beneficiaries so that we can get like not even 1 month's worth of benefits saved. I'm sorry, that doesn't make any logical sense, okay? There's way better things that they can do for cost cutting or increasing income into Social Security versus actually removing the COLA, okay? Removing the COLA would be nothing more than a slap in the face to all beneficiaries and basically say, we don't care anymore. You're on your own. We don't care about the beneficiary anymore. That's literally what that would do, okay? So this whole idea from some lawmakers that have suggested, let's just remove the COLA. Let's just get it out of there. We don't need to give these benefit increases anymore. Beneficiaries are fine. That's not the case. That's not true. Some are fine. A lot are not. This would not do anything other than really just kind of throw it right in the face of beneficiaries, and it would not be a good situation. I don't agree with this plan. It would not. If you look at the real numbers here, okay, fine. You save $100 billion in 10 years. I don't care. That's not that much. Considering the output on a monthly basis is over $100 billion, we're going to mess up benefits for beneficiaries for 10 years or however long so that we can get, not even 1 month's worth of benefits covered? Doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, what I would actually suggest doing is better invest the $2.788 trillion in the trust fund so that it returns more than a 2.4% return on the money. That's what I would say, okay? The trust fund gets about 2 to 2.4% of a return on that money each year, and we're talking nearly $3 trillion. If they actually knew what they were doing, and this money was invested more properly, they could be getting like a 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 20% return on this money year over year. And we wouldn't have to have these conversations. They would have so much money coming in from investments on the trust fund, nearly $3 trillion. It'd be nuts, okay? They could be generating cash like crazy if this money was actually invested properly, versus just invested into the treasury notes and things like this and then returning 2.4% or 2%, whatever it is. It's not much, right? They're losing money. The trust fund is literally losing money because of inflation every year and the poor returns that they're getting on the money. It's just nuts. It's not that hard to figure out. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. Please leave your comments, your questions, your concerns down below. Otherwise, subscribe down below. Totally free to do so. Feel free to share the video with your friends on my social media so they can see what's going on here. There's a share button right down below as well. Otherwise, check out some of the videos here on the channel, including the thousands in the video library. The ones I've hand selected for you down below in the description at the top of the comment section. There's a bunch there. Otherwise, right now, popping up on your screen, you'll see some videos as well. Take your selection now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you again in just a minute in the next video. So go ahead and check out the next video.